Good evening. My name is Andy Huggins. I'm the president of the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club here in Harrisonburg, Rockingham County. On behalf of all the kids that we serve, we'd like to welcome you to our annual Investors Club. Now, about a year ago, many of you joined us downtown at Bella Luna for a social hour before we told you a little bit about the club. Tonight, we're in my backyard having a social distancing hour. So, during these unprecedented times, it calls for us to be creative, all of us, individuals, businesses, as well as nonprofits, to make sure that we connect with our clients, our donors, and our community. So thank you for joining us tonight. And before we get into our program, let me introduce the other distinguished guests. We have Sandra Quigg, our executive director, who's been here for just under a year. And if I had told you a year ago that the clubs would be closed 4 months, would you believe me? Next, we have Joel Sims, who's one of our unit directors. And Joel is one of these unit directors. They're the ones that get contact with the kids each and every day, and they're the ones that build the relationship. And we really appreciate all that you do for us, Joel. And last and certainly not least, at the end, who is that behind that mask? Chaz Hayward. Many of you know Chaz as the clerk of court for since 2008, for over a decade. But I just learned recently that you got your start at a club, a boys club. It was before they were brought together, the boys club in Idaho. So thank you all for being here. So thank you for supporting us. And I'll also like to know that I'm very proud to be a part of this club for the whole time, the last 25 years. And I forgot to introduce John Salem with Telemedia, who's putting this streaming live to you tonight. And John has also been a part of the board for 25 years as well. So thank you, John, for being here and supporting us. So before you make an investment, as you know, I'm a certified financial planner. We think it's important that you do your homework and you understand what the company is all about. So before I make the ask, I want you to understand what's going on at the club. So Sandra, can you tell us a little bit about the club, the past, the present, and what you expect for the future?
Thanks, Andy. Yes, I can. So welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you could join us. We wanted to give you a brief history of the club. We were chartered in December of 1995, so that means we're in our 25th year.
Woo-hoo!
Yes! Woo! And we started with one club in the Lucy Sims Center, and we have 7 clubs in 6 locations. We started out serving 100 kids. Now we serve about 900 kids a year, and we serve children ages 5 to 18. We're a youth development organization, and that's what people need to understand. We provide programming in 3 key areas: academic success, and character and citizenship, and healthy lifestyles. So our staff focuses on those 3 areas in order to provide the youth in Harrisonburg and Rockingham the right environment to learn and to grow. We serve as many. Our vision for these coming years, so we've served 25, we want 25, 50 more. And our vision is to serve as many youth as we can with excellent staff and excellent programming. And in order to do that, we look at our costs, and we also need to be, in order to provide it for as many people as we can, we need to be affordable. So we charge about $25 a week for after-school programming, but that far exceeds our costs. Our costs are 5 times more than that. And we then, so that therefore, everyone who comes into the club, we scholarship off the top. And on top of that, off the top scholarship, we then provide scholarships for those who need assistance with that weekly fee. For excellent staff, we provide training above and beyond what you might think our staff that work with youth need. Our staff goes through Boys and Girls Club of America online training, and we provide them opportunities throughout the year for that. And one of the great examples of that is sitting right next to me. So Joel Sims works at one of our clubs, and I'm going to pass it over to him because he is one of the reasons why kids come to our club.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Sandra. As Andy and Sandra stated, I am Joel. I work with Spotswood and Stone Spring Boys and Girls Club. A little bit about myself, the background, how I got into Boys and Girls Club. I heard of Boys and Girls Club. Actually from Richmond. Came to Harrisonburg, went to JMU, graduated from JMU. But during that process, when I was at JMU, this former CEO during that time came in and he said, you know what? If y'all want some extra credit for this class that I was doing, you can come in and you can volunteer at Boys and Girls Club. So, I took it as that time like, okay, this is about to be easy, like volunteering, interacting with kids, playing around, different programs that they run in Boys and Girls Club. This is something I might be interested in later in life, and I don't know. I didn't know what to expect from myself during college. I just knew I wanted to be involved in sport and rec, and I didn't know later on in life that I'll be at this particular point in time right now where I'm involved in impacting youth in a positive way in a numerous ways that I never thought of when I was in college. So I ended up doing the extra credit. And that was just for volunteering. Then actually during my senior year, I actually did my internship here at the Harrisonburg Boys and Girls Club at Sims. And when I did my internship there, they offered me a unit director job at Sims. So it was like, you know what? I've been here for it was about my third or fourth year volunteering and impacting the youth. And I was like, you know what? It was either that or go back home to Richmond. And during that time, I was like, you know what? I made some positive impact on the kids, and I wanted to stay here and just continuously do that. So during the Sims process, when I was the unit director, we also had an outreach program called La Casita. La Casita was an outreach program that was through Sims, and it was probably about 3 to 4 miles from the Sims Center that we have located in Harrisonburg. And when I went over there, it started off as a low number, and these kids they really didn't have anything to do. And there's a couple of kids that I'll name, and they till this day have a positive impact on me, and I have a positive impact on them. And this is how I know it because a week ago, um, a former employee who used to work at Boys and Girls Club actually came to me and told me that these kids wanted me to come see them for their graduation for
Okay.
an after party. So I'm like, you know what? They still remember me, and I still made that positive impact from like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, Joel, like I didn't. Sometimes you get carried away with work where you focusing on program or you trying to focus on uh, teaching kids how to become better, productive, responsible citizens in the community, and then sometimes you don't realize when a kid can just simply say thank you or come see me or
Mm.
it'll touch you like deep in your heart and like as I'm talking right now, um, it touches me because some of these kids I've seen, especially through the La Casita, which was Marvin and Franny, which the picture that I have um of them graduating, but I also have like Veronica. They feel like they didn't have friends or they had a area where there's nothing for them to do. So we would come and pick them up from the with the bus. Me and this former employee, we would come pick them up, and then they would come to Sims, and they like playing soccer. They like snack. They like healthy habits. They like gym time. They like power hour, and these are things that they couldn't experience when they were at home. So those are a couple of positive impact things that we have at Boys and Girls Club. But it's always a constant or a good reminder when kids are coming up to you later on in life when they graduate from high school or if they graduate from middle school or if they're going up from elementary school to middle school and they still remember you. Where I'm at Spotswood and Stone Spring, which is two locations inside the city, and if they go to middle school, they still end up seeing me because they know me. Mr. Joel likes to visit them for lunch. That's Mr. Joel's favorite thing during lunch because I don't have to be that. I don't have to be that person where you see like
Good.
I'm the mentor or the one who's in charge. It's more so I can sit down. That's interact. How was your day so far? Anything I could do to make it even better? Or when you come to Boys and Girls Club later, what's up? Like how are we gonna make it even funner at club when you're here? So those are just a couple of positive success stories that I've had with a couple of the
Good.
outreach community that we used to have, and then also have, I mean, success stories every day. Like you can go to Walmart, you can go to any place in the community, and if they just run up to you, I think that's like one of the most priceless things is when they run up to you, whether it's the parent, guardian, or if they give you positive feedback on Boys and Girls Club and what's going on. I know during this time it's a little bit rough, but seeing the friends and I call them my friends, even though they're members, they're my friends. I'm always happy to see them, and they always put a smile on my face.
That's great. Thank you, Joel. As you can see, Joel is very passionate about working with the kids, and that's the relationship is what makes this all work. So thank you, Joel, for all you do. So, Chaz, tell me what it was like growing up in the club and the impact that it had on your life and how it made you who you are today.
Sure, Andy. Thanks for hosting this, and I want to thank everybody who's tuning in right now and taking time out of what you're doing in your lives to see what's going on within the club. But I really want to stop from the remark that I was thinking I was going to say. And you know, Andy, when I was riding over here, I had this thought come across my heart, as we all do. We have to pay attention to that little voice. And what it was is the concept of being the person that you needed at a certain point. And so I'm listening to Joel. Joel, you are the guy that I needed when I was 10, when I was 11, when I was 12, when I was 13. You're that guy. So I really appreciate, because you know, all these folks out here that are donating and trying to decide where they should spend their resources. It's not directed at you, but it's directed in what you're giving to these kids in the direction ahead. So, you know, God's provided you a gift, and just keep on using it. And I'm proud of you, and I just met you. So I was a kid growing up in Lewiston, Idaho. My dad was a logger. My mom at the time has first worked in a bank and later moved on to other things. But it was a good life. It was tough, but we didn't notice it because our parents loved us. We didn't see the hard times because our parents loved us. But with two parents having to work, even back then, which was just starting to happen, we needed a place to go and a place to keep us out of trouble. And the Boys Club was the answer in the town that I grew up in Lewiston, Idaho. The Boys Club ran the sports leagues. So if you played football, Boys Club. If you played baseball, Boys Club. If you were taking swimming lessons, Boys Club. That's where you went. But it was such a great thing because they kept us focused not on the team, and because I was terrible. I couldn't hit a ball. I couldn't, I wore the uniform and I thought it looked cool, but it got really dirty because I was usually on the bottom. And but the fact is it taught me about teamwork. It taught me about listening. It taught me about how to be a buddy to the person on my left and right. So I mean, I was real fortunate to come up in that. I was real fortunate that my parents saw that was a good place for us to go. We just went. We walked there when it was on summer days, when sun was coming up, and we came home when the sun was going down.
That's great. Chaz, this is an investment club meeting, and I know that you've made a few investments in your life, and what do you think about the Boys and Girls Club of Harrisonburg, Rockingham County? Will this be a good investment, you think?
Well, it most certainly is, because did you just hear what Joel said? And I wasn't even going to go down the path of asking, but what I think we all should see right here is a person like Joel, and there's more Joel out there. And in the future, there's going to be others, and they could likely be those kids that we're investing in today. They could be the next Joel, the next Andy, the next Sandra with Boys and Girls Clubs, and they need someone. They need someone who's going to be there after school. And if it's not for your investments, they're not going to have that person. So it's definitely an opportunity. It's definitely good for my wallet, and I hope it's good for everybody else.
Well, great. Thank you, Chaz. Appreciate your sharing your personal story. And, of course, being the certified financial planner that I am, I'm the one that's going to be making the ask. So I'm very, very proud to be a part of this for 25 years and serving the kids in our community who need us most. And many of you out there today have helped us through these past 25 years. And guess what? We want your support for the next 25 years. And so you should be seeing on your screen the 3 different clubs. We're going to try and make it simple. Obviously, we're grateful for any amount you give, but we have 3 different clubs we want you to consider. One is to be a hero. We figured it cost about $1,000 to put one child through the school year, and of course, most of that is through our staff and our relationships like Joel that he has with the kids. And so you could be a hero for $1,000. And by the way, you can be a hero to 1 kid or 10 kids. We don't care. The second level is being a good neighbor. We had it costs about $500 to go through the whole summer program. It's pretty much all day long. And we had one donor said, "I'd like to take care of the kids in my neighborhood." There's 5 of them there, so that's $2,500. So that's called being a good neighbor. And so $2,500, you could be a good neighbor. And the last club we want you to consider is a quarter of a century club. This is the one I'm very passionate about. We've been around for 25 years, and we want to be around for 25 more years. And so we're going to ask for a pledge or donation of $25,000. You can make it in 1 year, or you can spread out over 5 years. It's up to you. But we haven't quite put together. We're going to have like a wall of fame. We got to get together and see what we're going to do. But we're going to have a special way to recognize our quarter of a century club members. So please put that in your thoughts and see if that's something that fits with your heart and something you could do for us. And by the way, we also want to make it easy. You can make it a lump sum payment. You can do it quarterly, monthly. We'll take a check or credit card. We're in the agriculture. We're not going to take any chickens, though, right? No. No, we want a check, credit card. Also, again, we're grateful for any amount you can give us at any time. There's also, if you have an opportunity and have the ability, we'd like for you to consider making this donation next week. And what's happening next week is on June the 24th. It's a great community give. That's next Wednesday. Starts at 6:30, ends at 8. I'm also proud to be a part of the Community Foundation, and we're fortunate to live in such an amazing community with all these nonprofits. And this is the day of great community give, where all the nonprofits in our community come together through the Community Foundation, and it's an amazing day. And this is the 3rd year we've done this. And if you give to the Boys and Girls Club on June the 24th, we have 2 opportunities. Anytime throughout that day, we'll go to the Boys and Girls Club. If you give between the hours of 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., it's called a power hour, and we can get an additional bonus. We get an additional bonus for that power hour, for the number of donors, and then for the overall day, the amount of donation. In the last 2 years, I'm proud to say that we have been the #1 receiver of that gift, and we've gotten additional gifts for the Boys and Girls Club. Again, it's all about the kids. So anyway, we'd be grateful for you to make your donation at any time, but if you can make it next Wednesday, June the 24th, between 9 and 10, that would be the ultimate. So thank you very much for your support. And before we wrap this up, let me just turn to my guests. Anyone have any closing comments? Or
I just got one thing to say. Let's go, BGC. Hey.
Well, thank you very much. And I think we need to raise our hand. Let's say 25 years. Cheers for 25 years. Cheers. Cheers. All right. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you around town. And thank you for supporting the kids in our community who need us most. It's a wrap. Thank you.